If you enjoy Draw and Paint with Ja'RieGray on YouTube and would like to show your support, you can find Cash App and Venmo information below. By all means, this channel is free to watch and learn from. Enjoy! Hey everyone, welcome to another vlog. So this vlog is another art vlog. So I am actually going to an art exhibition, and this exhibition is from the artist Joaquin. So Joaquin he has a solo exhibition at CAC, which is the Creative Arts Center of Dallas. And I'm really excited about this show because his work is very incredible. He does metal sculptures, but he also uses other materials other than metal when it comes to his sculptures. So I'm really excited about this show and what his work is about. So his show is called 13 Years in the Shadow, and it pretty much just goes over being undocumented as a kid with a family and knowing that they had to be in the shadows a lot. Although now he is documented in the US, I thought it was quite interesting for him to share his story in a visual way, for his viewers to understand, you know, how it felt to be a young kid and being undocumented and just kind of being in the shadows at all the time. They couldn't really expose themselves to a lot of things, but it's also a little glimmer in that, the fact that he was able to get documented and be able to enjoy or experience his life in America in a better way. So I wanted to just drag my viewers along, or my subscribers, my young artists that I absolutely love. And you guys, thank you so much. I know I've been doing a few shorts, and I'm noticing there's a few people that has been liking my shorts. So I just want to say thank you. Once again, my channel is basically about art tutorials for my students. I squeeze in a little bit of my life, and also when it comes to my vlog, I do my best to make sure it's art related. So the fact that I know, since I've been doing a little bit of shorts where I'm just sitting down and talking to my young artists, I'm just pretty excited that there's been some viewers and some people that's been sticking around and enjoying my channel because of it. So once again, I don't want this intro to be too long. I'm gonna do my best to put up any type of information when it comes to Joaquin's show. It is going to be up, I believe, until the end of April. I'll double check that. I could be wrong. So if you're in the Dallas area, or if you have been to CAC, which is the Creative Arts Center of Dallas, or you want to go to the show, just definitely just Google CAC, Google the Creative Art of Dallas, and it should pop up. But enough of me talking and rambling, because that's what I'm doing. You guys, let's go on to the show. All right, guys.
thank you everyone so much for coming to the Creative Arts Center. I'm Stephanie, I'm the Executive Director, and thank you for coming to help celebrate Joaquin Soto's beautiful show and work. He's the recipient of our Equitable Artist in Residence Award, and he really epitomizes exactly everything that we were trying to achieve with this program. He's got a very compelling story to share. It's very of this moment, and I feel so fortunate that we were able to find such a beautiful, wonderful artist with this great style and amazing story, and somehow we were able to convince him to come and teach with us. So let's have a little round of applause. Joaquin, and I'll turn the floor over to you.
That's cool here. Okay. Make it easier. Well, thank you all for being here. It's a really awesome experience to have people come out and hear you speak about works that you work in the studio in privacy and kind of like alone. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's a little surreal, right? This show has been a long time in the making, kind of processing. It's art therapy for me. The last two and a half years of my life have been crazy and not the best experiences that I would love to have gone through, but I think going through those experiences has made me appreciate life a little better, right? I got to meet a lot of awesome people, which are a lot of them are in this room, and then they've been vital to my healing journey and to my appreciation of life and appreciation of people in my life. It's awesome, right? And this show, I had this idea for this show for many years before I decided to kind of like be vocal about some of the issues. I always wanted to be vocal about it, but then I always thought about like, what are people gonna think, right? What are people gonna say about my message? Are they gonna see me differently? Are they gonna like treat me differently? And that always kind of like was like kind of like the stop of me not doing things. It was that fear. But then I was like, you know what, screw it. Like, my life is gone to shit. Sorry for the language, but it's gone downhill for a while now. They're like, I'm kind of like in the point where like this is kind of like building up from that. And the layout of this room is very purposeful. It may be a small area or a small gallery, but I wanted to kind of like have the most impact that you could. And this wall right here is the first 7 years of my life. The first from day one to when I was 7. And then within that time, there was some stuff that happened to me that I'm not really proud of, right? I was a victim of sexual abuse. And to me, that was always kind of like something that stuck with me. Like I knew, I felt it, I knew something happened, and I just kind of pushed it off in my mind. I just kind of like ignored it. I didn't want to believe that it happened, but it did happen. It happened to the point where like I just wanted to just ignore that it was ever a thing. And I did for so many years. I pushed it so deep into my mind that it became like a distant memory, like a bad dream, like when you wake up and you just like don't know if it was real or not, right? And I believed that it wasn't real until later on in my life, my body was kind of speaking up. And like the body keeps a score, and it does. All those memories started kind of coming out. People around me would say things or do things or just grab my hand or touch me in a spot, and I just will go back into the memory. And I will feel that exact same feeling. And then I will just like shut down, or I will be full of fear that I will react, and I will say things, I will do things, I will act like I was a kid again. And I was tired of that. I was tired of feeling that way. I was tired of like not knowing why I always felt this way when certain people would say things to me, right? And that was like my biggest motivation for me to seek out help and get therapy and get the help that I needed to, because I was just like, I didn't know like what to believe. It was really weird, like surreal, like not knowing if what I experienced the day before actually happened, or if it happened the way that I thought it did, and it played a big trick in my mind that it just I never felt like it was like I was healing. I was just like reliving a life, like a memory. So that's where I started kind of going about it. And this is, if you ever get a chance, or whenever you get a chance, I would encourage y'all to read this. Read my artist statement. The artist statement will make sense in a minute, I promise. But this is a letter to my tormentor. From a young age, you took so much from me. A persistent loss of innocence that over the years changed how I interacted with others, but most importantly with myself. And I will never be that person before your acts took a piece of my soul. Your actions set off a ripple effect that I still feel to this day. You made me doubt calm seas for turbulent waters, clear skies for the imminent storm that never came and never was. My vigilance made me keep my guard up when I should have relaxed. The feeling of love and affection were so foreign that when I had it, I always doubted it until it walked away from my side. You pretend nothing happened and live your life as normal. I wish I could have that ignorance. I hated you for what you took and left me with. What I was left with became the seeds of my creativity. Countless times were spent trapped in my thoughts, seeking safety, that it became a home for my imagination. Like my artwork made from mismatched materials, I will come together and be my interpretation of beauty and perfection. I will never be the same, but why would I want to be? I will patch my imperfections with gold like a broken Japanese pot, embracing my flaws to never forget. I won't feel powerless and forget what I was, what I am, and what I wish to become. Yeah. That was like the starting point to this show. I wrote that, and I just wanted to kind of get that out and just kind of do the starting point. And after that, I made this piece. This piece is a commission piece that I made recently. So this whole show was made in the last month and a half. And that whole wall was made with a broken collarbone. So this piece, like I said, is a commission piece, and it's called The Persistent Loss of Innocence. And I was stuck on this piece. I got the commission right after Christmas, and I had all these parts given to me by the artist or the person that commissioned it. He gave me all the pieces, gave me all the parts. All I had to do was just work my magic and put it together. But I was stuck. I couldn't think about it. I was just so stuck with my life was just. I was going through a lot of stuff at work and personal life and a lot of things, and it was just kind of in the back burner. But luckily, the people that I met in my life were there and kind of helped me open up my creativity to see the vision for this. And I saw the vision of this piece, and after I made it, I was like, this reminds me of my childhood. Something when I was making this, it reminded me when I was a kid. I was just kind of messing around and playing and just kind of literally just, I felt like it was just play. It wasn't work. It wasn't creation or commission. It was just me working in the studio, playing and just having fun. And it had all these little trinkets of little things that look kind of childlike. And then it had a lot of little things that were just very whimsical and just kind of cute and funny. And after making it, I was just I don't know, kind of relieved. And then I had the idea for the rest of the show. And then came this wall, which was 7 hearts for the 7 years from day 1 to age 7. And then heart starts to kind of slowly break apart and then slowly get put back together. And then the heart at the end, even though it's still back together, it's not the same as when it started. Okay, you still have those battle scars, those wounds, those things that you're dealt with, you're left with, things that happen, people around you, I don't know, life in general. But yeah, the first 7 years of my life, and then 7 years were on this side, because then when I was 7, I moved to this country, and that side of the wall is my life in the US. So that's when the 13 years in the shadows started to take place. So from age 7 to the age 20, I lived in this country undocumented. So I had that fear of not knowing what was gonna happen to me, of not knowing like what the next day will look like. So always constant fear and constant worry about everything in life. And again, that's added trauma to already a traumatized person, and already a person that's not knowing what's happening. You add that mix to it, and I keep telling people I'm lucky that I was able to realize and wake up from everything and correct my life and correct my actions. This side, the middle side, the mid piece, this is the homage to my dad. He's on over there. That's my dad right there. Hey, Dad. So it's called Crack of Dawn, and homage to my dad because he's the hardest worker I've ever known. Just from really early in the morning, works hard and just does everything he needs to for the family, to provide and to just make sure that we're good. So second piece, this piece is homage to my mom. That's my mom right there. So this one has 4 butterflies, so that's her and our 3 siblings coming to the US. So it's called migration for that reason, migrating to this country. And just kind of like those little trinkets in there. Just I wanted to make this side about my life, but not like in your face about an immigrant story. And it's told through nature, right? This piece right here is it's called I can't really see it. Can someone read it?
Golden Trap.
Golden Trap. Okay, I have two ones, so I get confused. So don't judge me on that one. And also, I also was like on really strong medication for these 5, so I don't remember much of this week and a half or 2 weeks here. Golden Trap. So this is kind of like a take on the immigrant story. If you were to turn on your TV right now and see the news, you always talk about people coming in, people invading this country or coming to this country or taking this or that or whatever, but we never talk about people that are already here that can't leave this country. And that's the golden trap. Like the US is the golden trap. Like the US may be the golden beacon on the hill or like the American dream, but in reality, if you're here, you can't leave. Like for example, me, 13 years in that life, I couldn't leave. I couldn't go back home and see family or travel. I had friends that went to, I don't know, like they took vacations overseas. They went to Cancun or they went to like Spain or whatever, and they will come back the first day of school and say, I went to this place. And they ask me, where did you go? Nowhere, right? Okay, I didn't have that connection. So I was trapped there. Like that's kind of like the 2 hummingbirds. The hummingbird is meant to be mobile and fly around and express itself through movement, and you're just trapping it. You're just kind of keeping it in one place, and it still can kind of see and communicate with a loved one or a sibling or whatever, but you're trapping it. It's not the same. This one right here is just kind of like, again, it's very literal, kind of releasing kind of like yourself, and kind of, even though like, again, I felt like I was trapped, I did have a sense of freedom, of opportunity. I had like the ability to do things that other people couldn't, even though I was still limited. And I'm still blessed by that I was able to still go to school and still practice art. Not many immigrants can say that they did art, right? Because that was like kind of like, that's not seen as a real thing. And my family was very supportive, so I really thank that for them. So last one is just kind of like bearing those fruits. This country did provide a lot. It did provide a lot of things for me, but then those fruits there's always like a catch to those things. Like I couldn't really enjoy the fruits of this country during that time. Even though as hard as I worked, as hard as I did things, I was never seen as an equal. I was never seen as an American. I was never seen as a person that belonged here. But then this kind of like was just like, even though that was still a thing, I was still picking at it. I was still going for it. I was still shooting my shot, even though I know I will probably miss half the time. Until, luckily, after those 13 years, I was able to get my residency and then my citizenship and all those things. I was mentioning this earlier to someone I was talking to, that those 13 years were from age 7 to 20. I'm about to be 33 next year. So that's 13 years in the light. That's gonna be my next show.
Wow.
So
Nice.
taking that reversal of like, this is what happened, this is what happened to me. 13 years in the shadows. Contrast to that, when you think of shadows, you think of darkness, you think of like just sadness and stuff like that. I wanted to switch the color scheme on this. So this is why you see a lot of gold, a lot of like brightness, a lot of like positivity. I never used gold in my works before. So I went to Jerry's Artorama, so shout out to them. So they, the one in Arlington, because I went there, and I was just trying to ask them, I was asking them for like help on things to get for gold. They had gold leaf, they had like different things. They had gold wax, which I never used before. So all of this is gold wax that's applied on those horns, on those frames, on the metal. I brushed it on like paint, let it sit, and when it dried, I just clear coated it, and it was perfect. So yeah, so I was just blown away by that and just experimenting with it. Again, I wanted to do the contrasting thing because I didn't want it to just be sad and just like dreadful, even though it was just like a sad moment or a sad experience. I didn't want it to just feel like that. I wanted it to be like bright. And I don't know if y'all picked up on the color scheme. It's kind of like a greenish teal color. That wall was also kind of like that. It was chosen on purpose. So every piece, for the most part, has these strips of color. They're kind of like this teal color. And those are from my previous show. I had a VW Bug, and I cut the car into, I bought the whole car and cut it into sections, the side window, the back window, the roof, the doors, all that stuff. And this is the hood of the car. I had it in the show, right? And we were taking it back home. It fell off the truck into the highway. So it fell in the highway. My dad was running and grabbed it and put it back in the truck. And my dad was like freaking out. I was like, I messed it up, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, don't worry about it. I'll cut it up or I'll do something with it. So I had this 1965 VW hood all dented in my studio, and I just started cutting it into strips. And then it's on all the pieces. So every piece has that now. So that's the tying piece of it. Like my childhood was the Beatle played a big part in my childhood. So it's just kind of like that therapy for like this happened in my life. So I'm bringing it back to the starting point and kind of like letting myself know that even though that happened in the past, it's not real anymore, and I have power over it. So that was kind of like me taking ownership of the situation. But yeah, so that was a lot. Any questions?
I do have a question for you.
All right, let's clap first.
Okay. So on your series, we were noting that you showed the breaking, but you always have the nails, like it's still trying to hold. So I don't know if that's your faith, your family, whatever. But my question was, when you got to this very last one, your heart was never completely broken. Something was still holding you together. What does that nail symbolize?
That's a symbol of my family, for sure. And just kind of like the hope of like knowing that, all right, this is happening to me, but I always looked around me, there's people going through worse things. So that was kind of like, all right, my life may feel like it's falling apart, or it's like not gonna be perfect anymore. But looking at other people's lives, I was just like, well, I have nothing to complain about. I'm still better off than most people. People will do anything to be in my situation. So it's
Plus,
kinda
it's
like
only 4.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, way to point that out, Barbara Mary.
So yeah, it was just kind of like just knowing that there were better days were coming, and my family was still there, still supportive. I mean, they've been supported since day one. Like they're the ones that, when I told them I wanted to be an artist and do art and teach art and do these things, they were just like, okay, cool. They were never said like, you're crazy or Mexican things. That's pendejo, right? That's the Mexican thing to say. I'm supportive, so I can't really complain on that end. So,
Thank you.
yeah. Any other questions?
Joaquin, thank you for letting us walk through the darkness with you, and thank you for showing us the light, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
Awesome.
Thank you for being here and
Very
being a
excited.
part of our community.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, I want to say
Yeah.
one more thing. Since I started kind of like I said, the last 2 years were kind of rough and me opening up to things. And a lot of people, not a lot of people, I'm gonna lie if I say that, but there were some people in my life that questioned me opening up to this message or this part of my life and thinking that I was doing it for attention, right? And to me, that's far from the truth. When you're going through stuff like this is the last thing you ever want, is to be like spotlight, right? But in reality, I was just tired of being part of the culture of silence, that just ignore it and brush it off. That's what kind of like built up in my life that made it kind of like overwhelming. So that's the thing that I just wanted to just point out, that if my message can kind of speak to people and help someone, that's what I want. And I am it's fortunate to say that I'm going to be donating my work, a lot of my work, to like help out with like children in abuse situations. So my work will be auctioned off and sold off and helped that way. So
Oh, nice.
that's my way of giving back.
Great.
Thank you.
All right. If you still mingle, there's plenty of food and snacks and drinks. So, and then I'll walk around and ask questions, take lots of pictures. Please just take advantage that this will be a picture for now. And even though I don't want to have a picture like that, but I think take advantage of the situation.
A definite time.
Yeah.